Hi, I'm Maria Sanko, and I'm here to talk to you about redirecting your stuff.
Well, actually, Maria, you are redirecting where they're going to live. I'm the one that steps in with you to help them redirect their stuff.
Okay.
And my name is Gae Marie Guagenti, and I'm here to help redirect your stuff.
Welcome to the Redirect Podcast. We appreciate you joining us and listening to our conversation about finding your purpose in retirement. Curt, Dale, I got a couple of stats to drop on you about your stuff. In 1970, the average house had about 40,000 items in it, and now it's over 300,000 items, like people have in their house right now. A sister stat to that is that the average house in the past 50 years has tripled. And if you marry those two stats together, stuff has gone from 40,000 to 300,000 items, and your house has only tripled. So if you marry those together, we are accumulating more stuff. We're holding on to it more. We are a nation of not just consumers, but collectors, really. 1 in 10 Americans rents an off-site storage unit, which I think is interesting because most people, even in a span of about a year, will pay more to store their stuff than that stuff is usually worth. So I think that's interesting. 25% of people with a 2-car garage do not have room for their cars. So in addition to an off-site storage, they have on-site storage and no room for their vehicles. So, Curt and Dale, what does your house look like concerning your stuff?
So, we had my wife did her second redirection when we sold the company, and she decided to purge our entire house when I wasn't there.
Oh, I did that to my wife.
It is one of those things that you do that you really need to talk about.
Yeah, I learned that lesson the hard way.
We were about to do a major remodel. We'd made the choice not to downsize. We were going to stay in this house because we had grandkids on the way, and we said, what a great place for the family compound. And for me, it's just down to clothes and cycling stuff and cycling jerseys. I think I've got 40, maybe more cycling jerseys.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Every event I ever went to. And, of course, that drawer stays there. It's neatly organized. And I know pretty well that my sons aren't going to want any of my jerseys. So I hope we're going to get into that today.
How about you, Curt?
In the last 7 years, we've moved 3 times. And each time we've done a downsizing effort. Our house where we raised the kids, we were there for, 25 years. And we moved downtown, 3 miles away, and purged our stuff into there. So we got rid of some things at that point. And then when we came to Cincinnati 4 years ago, we bought we looked for a minimal type of setting in our home, a ranch, manageable, take care of us for the future type of thing. And as a result of that, got rid of a lot of things in order to come here. Now, being here for 4 years, we are now starting to accumulate some things here and there. Not big, not crazy, but I think I'm being conscious of we don't want to get into that habit of bringing more into the house. If something comes in, the old adage, something comes in, something's got to go. But there's some fun things with all that as well.
So why don't you introduce us to today's guest?
Well, we're very fortunate today that today's friend of the Redirect podcast is Gae Marie Guagenti and Maria Sanko. Let me start with Maria. Maria is an agent for CCR Realtors in Lima, Ohio. Having been in the real estate industry for almost 18 years, Maria specializes in residential and commercial real estate sales. Joining Maria is a dear friend of mine and somebody that I've known for over 40 years is my sister-in-law, Gae Marie Guagenti. Gae Marie provides a service that assists Maria in her real estate business by being available to guide and help Maria's clients in getting rid of their stuff. Let it be a death in a family, divorce, a move to another city, or a house right-sizing project. As we mentioned earlier, we accumulate so much stuff over the years, and the task of cleaning the house can be daunting, challenging, and rewarding all at the same time. So, ladies, it's great to have you here today, and welcome to the Redirect podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasure to be here.
I have to ask you, we opened with some pretty big statistics. Did that shock you?
Not at all. No.
And why is it? Why are we hoarding, I guess? Why are we
It's unbelievable.
collecting so much stuff?
I'll go through a house for a listing appointment, and a lot of my clients are people that are downsizing right now. But I think we've helped a lot of people leave their big home and go to an assisted living or adult living. So you're talking like sometimes I sell houses as big as 8,000 or 9,000 square feet going into a 2-bedroom unit in assisted living. That's where she comes in.
Oh, my.
She's amazing.
Oh, thank you. I find that over the years, things have become more readily available. Society speaks, oh, look at this cute little doll, or look at this beautiful basket. You need 20 of them. They'll become worth something. Down the road, you find that they're not really worth anything.
Beanie babies.
Beanie babies.
You're not still coming across Beanie Babies.
Boxes and cases and crates
my
of them.
And they still feel that they're worth something.
No one wants to get rid of them. They think they've got the Princess Diana worth $5 million in their collection.
What about the person, younger people today? Well, let's sort of go to that mode. That, they order from Uber Eats or DoorDash, comes to the house. Are they using grandma's china in order to put their food on so that they can have that experience from the family?
Never.
No, I'll give you an example. I have 2 girls, and I thought I'm going to buy 2 sets of my china so that they each have 12 place settings. My husband and I are downsizing and moving. They're helping me pack. And I'm like, just so you 2 know, this china's here and there's 12 for each of you. And I see them over on the side talking and they're boxing up. And then they both looked at me and said, Mom, we don't want that china. So here I am with 24 place settings.
Your heart?
It did in a way, because I grew up my mom passed away and I inherited all my grandma and my grandpa's, and I've got like 5 of everything because my mom had a lot and then I had a lot. But so I took all of my mom's things, and it was supposed to be so special, and we run into this all the time. We try to get rid of it, and
We end up donating it.
it's not worth anything.
The
You
kids
give
don't
it.
want it.
So let me ask, how does it work? So obviously, Maria, you're the real estate person. Somebody calls you on up, hey, we're looking to move the house. Then how does this relationship work?
I like a typical real estate agent. They call me, and you've got to go and see what you're going to try to sell. And we just go room to room, and I'm looking like, wow, they've got a lot of stuff here. They're elderly. They're going to need help. And she is good at this. And we work very well together to do it. So as I'm going through, some people don't want people to help them go through their stuff.
Of course. It's very personal.
And those are the hard ones, because then they still keep everything. So
Percentage-wise, how many people are we talking about?
but most clients that I have, I've dealt a lot in the higher end market. So we've got big houses with a lot of stuff, and she's helped doctors move. We've worked in little apartments too. Even when you try to do it yourself, to go through everything and think that no one really wants this, and why do I have it, and why did I collect this? And I mean, and when my clients and a lot of things, it's not like little things from McDonald's. It might be a whole set of Waterford glasses. No one wants them. The kids don't want them. They don't want it.
No.
So what happens is Maria will call me once she explains who I am and what I do. And so I go over, and then I walk through the house with the potential client. And then we go room to room, and I explain to them, what do I do? What are the needs that you have? And I will go with you through this journey, drawer by drawer, closet by closet, because we find a lot of times it's easier for somebody like me versus a husband, a wife, or a child helping, or other family members to help them go through their stuff. Because
It's too close.
Too close. I don't care about this stuff, so I'm not attached to it. They are, and I work the process through with them. Like, okay, where did this come from? What is this all about? Does it really mean anything to you? And will we have space to put this in your new place?
What happens in the situation where the parents have deceased and now the kids may not necessarily be from town, or maybe they're in town. Are there different scenarios based upon those two situations? And
That's
what are
easier, don't you think?
Actually,
Because they don't want anything.
they come in and I let them have the house for however long they need, and they get everything out that they want. And then they call me, and I will go through with them going, okay, this is probably a value. I can sell this. I have connections to sell things and other places or charities. And then I sit down. Are you wanting to sell everything? Are you able to donate most of this? Let's look at money facts. It's not worth what you may think it's worth, especially antiques these days. They're just not bringing the money in. And that's easy because they're gone. I have control of the house. We still go through everything just to make sure they didn't miss something. And we usually do find something of interest, and then I call the family. And then I just will pack everything up, donate it, sell it, get a dumpster, and get the house ready for market for Maria. We'll get the house cleaned and everything.
Gae's got very good resources, like some consignment shops, furniture ones, that people do go in and you might get $1,200 for something, versus giving it away. But there's not always a lot of that kind of thing.
No.
She's got a good eye to figure out what these places and what'll sell there and what they'll take, because they're picky about what they take.
They have to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I take pictures of everything and I forward the pictures to this company, and then they'll let me know with an estimated cost, and then we take it from there.
So I love your process. I mean, the process of how you both work together. It sounds, when you're going to start a job, what are the red flags that start popping up, or what are some of the challenges that you have?
I think we get a feel of the person we're dealing with, and we can kind of judge how sensitive do we have to be, or how careful do we have to be about, do you really need this? It's kind of like a tone. This is important to you. Maybe we set it aside for now and come back to that. Let's go through the drawer that's easy for you to get rid of things. And then we'll circle back to that particular item or items.
We have a hard time, too, of pets. And the pets have ruined their carpets and ruined their furniture and ruined things. And they'll be like, well, this carpet is an Indian rug and it's worth so much money. But Gae and I are gagging because it's not clean. It's terrible to tell people you have an odor or your pets have ruined this. I feel like that's one of the hardest things to tell people.
And that has happened where I will pack a truck up to go, and we get there, and then the company will go, oh, we can't take this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't even realize it because the odor I thought was coming from the house. It was coming from the furniture. And so they just get rid of it for me.
Yeah. That's tough.
Yeah.
So when you're going through that process of helping people identify what we can keep, what we can't keep, and it's going to be influenced by their capacity in their new destination. It's got to be a myriad of different things, right? Sentimental value, a misappropriated financial value, a sentimental value of how they received it, and then a forecasted sentimental value of how it's going to be received by the people downstream for that. And so people, a variety of reasons, tend to overvalue their things. How do you navigate that? How do you help someone see it's not a matter of value, it's a matter of room. You don't have room for this.
I have an example. I have a vase that my mom said it's 24 karat gold and it was your great grandmother's and you always have to keep it. It's worth so much money. And there's that Google app that has a camera on it.
Google.
Yeah, and you take a picture of it and it came up, it was like valued at $20. I mean, my mom was thinking it was my inheritance. And so I showed people, you know, as you're doing it, use it. And then it's not one of us telling them, okay, maybe we could get rid of it. But she's got the daunting job of having to say, you really don't need this. It's really not worth anything. I really can't take it to the consignment shop. Technology's great, I think, for what we have at our fingertips to help people do that.
You also repurpose. If you've got like maybe 3 or 4 buckets, you've got the dumpster in the driveway, then you've got the things that they're going to be passed on. Then the next thing is you're going to be then finding a liquidation aspect from it. Let it be an online marketplace, Craigslist, or various shops, consignments. And then you have the place where you can just take raw material and you're trying to maximize. Does your customer or client actually think of all those aspects?
No, they don't. What I'm proud of what we do is how much we do recycle, repurpose. We find homes because somebody out there wants it. We may not want it. We may look at it and go, really? But somebody out there wants it. And we love dumpsters for common everyday stuff that just needs to be trashed. But our goal is to repurpose and recycle.
So which of these two scenarios is more challenging? Someone who thinks that their item is worth financially a lot more than it is, or this obligation of sentiment, right? Like it was given to me. It's important to me. I think it should be important to you, my child. And so I'm going to give this to you and you have to keep it. You have to take it. This obligation of value. What's tougher to deal with? Overvalued financial or obligated sentiment?
I kind of feel it's depending on the client.
Okay.
Because both can be difficult. And it just takes the time for them to realize, oh, my child really doesn't like it or want it. Or like, okay, this really isn't worth it. It just takes the time and the effort to work with them on it. But I technically feel it could be tough on both ends.
For me, the toughest is the person that thinks their things are valued more because you're trying to downsize. The sentiment, when I'm not working with you because they want to try it themselves, those kind of things I say, okay, you're moving and you're on a timeline. Let's take your sentimental things, put them in a box. If you want to have one box for each kid, if you're doing a parent's house, one box for each sibling. I did it myself with my parents. My siblings were all not in town. I gave them each a box, and I took pictures, and one of them would say, I might want that, or I might want that. I threw it in their box. Since it's sentimental, you're not disrespecting your parents or your spouse or anyone. You're holding on to it for a minute more, and it makes you really think, okay, what is truly sentimental and what isn't? But I think the people that overvalue their things, to me, those are the hardest because they think we're not telling the truth.
And that's what it does happen. And a lot of times I'll go, this is what this company is going to offer you for this. You're going to get half of this if they sell it. Or I can sell it here for blah, 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 for, $20. If you don't like this, if you don't like this process and you don't believe in what I'm saying, you're more than welcome to sell this yourself. Mm-hmm. And invariably they'll go ahead, you sell it. So you have to be blunt nicely. As far as the sentimental, that's where the time really comes in, where we sit with this client and we will listen to their stories and we will cry with them and we will just be really tender at that moment.
Guys, this might be a good chance to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Hey there, if you're enjoying this episode, we've got a small favor to ask. Actually, it's a big favor. Take a moment to like and share this podcast with your friends and family. Then follow the Redirect podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. It's quick, it's free, and it helps us keep bringing you great content every week. And if you really want to make a difference, drop us a 5-star review. Those reviews help us spread the word and keep this community growing. So hit that follow button, share with a friend, and let us know what you think. We appreciate you more than you know. Now let's get back at it. So many in our audience are retiring, thinking about retirement, redirecting. We're looking at the next 30. Give me some inspiration. We're going to have time to kind of get ahead of this, right? Mm-hmm. Do you counsel people to say, hey, right now, here's some of the things that you should be doing. What can I do today?
The way real estate works for me is someone will see me and say, I'm thinking about downsizing. My next line to them is start now. Start each room, go through the drawers. They have to start thinking at it in the beginning of what items are important to them or the things that they're taking. we downsized, and I don't know if you guys have, but it's kind of liberating when you get to your new place and you kind of don't have all that stuff you're shuffling through on a daily basis.
Look how much more stuff we can get now.
I know, but no, you know what? It's ruined me because I kind of am a shopaholic, and I'll find myself going, I really don't need anything anymore. Like, I'm just going to go buy something I don't need. And I stop myself, not with clothes and shoes and purses, but like.
So, Dale made a comment about retirement, and it's sort of our primary audience of people considering or in it. And me included. I have this little place down in the basement that has a signed Jordan basketball that is all the people that I worked with. I have a little trophy that tells me that I was sales rep of the year and manager of the year, and I have this little beautiful glass thing that it was my retirement gift. And I have, I worked for Reebok. I have a Shaq shoe, size 22 shoe sitting there because that's Shaq's shoe. And that's sort of my past identities that I sort of still have.
How do you feel now when you look at it?
They give me memories of those times, and those times are important to me. And I can reflect, and I can see a person's name on that Jordan basketball that I talked about, and all of a sudden I see that person's face, and I think about that person, and I remember the times that we had with them. So they're still fulfilling something for me, but they're not necessarily identifying me, but it's what I was.
So the basketball I see, that's cool. It's got the signatures and everything. But what about all the other little trophies or?
It's my accomplishments. That's what I got done at the time. Now I'm looking back at that and saying, yeah, good for you, Curt. But I know dang well, even that basketball that's servicing me, when that time comes and I'm not here anymore, that's the first thing in the dumpster.
Yeah, but for now, it brings warmth and happiness to you. But all the other little trophies, you know what you've accomplished, and your family knows. So do you need those things still?
Gae, I need you to tell me more. How much you appreciate me, Gae.
I do, Curt.
People are so much better than things. But what I was getting at by doing this is that you guys talk about how, Maria, you walk into the room, you meet with the people, you talk to them, but then through the process, you're developing a relationship.
Exactly.
You're handling emotional situations. You're handling legacy situations. You're handling the question, am I being a burden to my kids?
Mm-hmm.
So you're counseling as you're doing your jobs. Talk to me more about that.
I'm on the award thing. I had a whole box of real estate plaques of awards I got. Tall, big, huge box. And I threw them all away. I thought my kids aren't going to want these. They're sitting in a box. I know I got it. I'll write my obituary for my kids and it'll all be in it. But my kids don't need to handle 75 plaques that said I was Realtor of the Month or Realtor of the Year or Realtor of the Decade. Like, it's not important to them. They already know I'm great. Your kids already know what you've done. They've lived with you. You don't need that.
If there isn't a sentimental attachment to that, either for yourself or
right.
others, then sometimes the space something occupies is more valuable than the item in it.
Right.
We find that true when we are trying to have someone get their house ready for market. Because a lot of times I'll go in before that to help them, I guess we call it house ready, stage the house while they're still living there.
And the kind of one of the foundations of our podcast is about, recognizing you had an identity and a job, and now you're leaving that. It's the same with your stuff, right? This is theoretically your life, but it was yours. And there was a moment when this was very joyous, when I got that Lifetime Service Award. Wow, what a nice night it was. And people sent me pictures. I don't know what I do with it. Beyond this, it's a really big, beautiful piece of glass. What do you do with something? Is there a place that takes big chunks of glass and
it's engraved with your name and a date? So you need to enjoy that. You need to enjoy that for your life, and then just realize either just keep it so that your kids deal with it, but they're not going to keep it. They have their own awards and their own things. they're going to go, wow, I didn't know Dad got that award at that time. But just know at some point it's not as valuable to anyone else as it is to you. And don't take it personally.
That's big. I mean, we've had conversations with our boys to say, okay, here's your box. What do you want in it? But I think it's important to have those conversations early and don't make any assumptions, right?
Well,
And don't take it personally.
I can speak on a personal note. My husband has passed. Yeah. So it's been 5 years. So that's kind of me downsizing his things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having to move forward in that and go through his personal belongings, his office belongings, and it's a emotional journey. So I sympathize greatly with widowers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. With my husband's collection of trophies and awards. He's won a lot of business awards and everything. And I was keeping them. And here lately, I'm like, okay, kids, do you really want anything of your dad's as far as the business, the plaques and everything? No, Mom, we don't. I'm like, okay. And I was able just to get rid of them. I don't need them. I kept one little thing, maybe two, but I don't need them.
Curt, I like your approach of going to them in advance because the things that I think my kids are going to be excited about are not the memories they have. They have this memory of something completely different that they hold value in because of what it represents about their childhood or their family life or their young adult years, and giving them the option to, hey, what's important to you? I don't want to prescribe value for you. Let you chime in here and contribute to that. That's pretty cool.
I've had the opportunity to hear some of Gae's stories. Coin collection. My son got me hooked on that. So here Gae works this job, and I go into the mecca of coin collection. 1910 dimes. You know, ding! They chime. They're beautiful. All these coins that were way before, like the Civil War. I mean, incredible stuff. So she takes all the bags of things, and I start going through. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a 1901, blah, 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 blah.
My dad collected coins, and we thought, oh, this is it. And there's an app that is out there that you take a picture of the coin front and back, and it'll tell you. And you're right. A penny, instead of being worth a penny, might be $14. I mean, a good one, an old one. But I never in my whole dad's collection came across the jackpot coin. That's just, your kids will appreciate the memory of you two working together on it more than what the coin is.
Yeah, and the bag that I'm going to give them of those 1992 and 85 and 87 coins are going to be worth about $12.14 when you add it all up.
Do you know what I did with my dad's coins? I pulled like coins out, like the dimes that were the year my brother was born and he turned 60, and I had cufflinks made for him with two of dad's coin. I mean, you know, the girls, you could have a necklace made out of, you know, I mean, there's things you could do with it that would hold the sentiment, but I don't know if going through like boxes and bags and things of coins.
I mean,
if you like doing it, do
we're
it.
Downsizing now because when I'm going through stuff, I will ask I have 2 children. I will ask them, you want? Nope. Okay. Now out the door it goes. Ask them now. Why wait until later? And I still have a lot of stuff in my house.
I had like furniture that I bought from decorators that I paid tons of money for. My kids loved our house and their friends were there and they all loved it. So I said, whoever wants anything, you can take it. Like, we're downsizing, we're not going to need it. And they did like the china. Mom, we don't want any of your furniture. It's kind of old fashioned. I've decided with my china, when my dishes wear out, I'm going to start using my china for every day.
Oh, I said the same thing.
Yeah.
I might as well start just using my china.
Yeah, I'm saving it for Christmas and engagement parties, and they're not going to want it.
Thinking about Frisbees with my
like, you know.
I bet those things can fly.
Yeah.
Skeet shooting.
Yeah.
I'll bet there's some places that could use
right.
that. Hey, so my parents, my father died, my mom's still around, and there's only one thing that we all want, and that's my mom's pizza pan.
And I know it's things like that become more important.
How do you help families deal with one thing that maybe everybody wants.
We don't get into that, do we?
not get into
We just say save it. That's up to you guys, because then someone's gonna hate you for it.
So there's not a throw a number into a hat.
We could suggest that.
This is what we did for my in-laws. There were things that everybody wanted, and my mother-in-law said, okay, I'm putting numbers by each one of those things, and then we're going to put the numbers in the hat. Whatever number you pull out, that's what you're getting. And if you want to switch amongst yourselves, I don't care, but you have that. And it worked out.
And my elderly clients, if they're going to a nursing, assisted living or whatever, I'll tell them, take your jewelry, put it in a bag, and you decide who gets it and write their name on it, so that then when you're not here, there's no fighting over it. It's that mom or dad wanted you to have this. Yeah.
One step further on that, when my mom passed, she had a very nice little rings and jewelry and all the things she wanted to give. And I had a conversation with her, and I said, Mom, let's make a moment out of it.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, what do you mean? I said, I'm going to bring down all the things that you feel that you want to pass on and who you want to pass them on to. We're going to call them on up, and they're going to come on over and visit with you, because she was basically in the last month of her life. And we created a situation where I wrapped them all up in a little box. The person came on over to the house. They sat with my mom, and as she's talking, she says, here, I want you to have this.
That's
and
beautiful.
There's so much value.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I told my mom. Why should we be the ones to say, this is what your grandmother wants, or this is what your best friend wanted to give you, when you can do it yourself?
Exactly. That's a moment. That makes it special.
That helps me, because what I was going to do with my stuff is I was going to write into my trust a rock, paper, scissors tournament. and now I think I want to have the rock, paper, scissors tournament earlier.
Yeah, you need to witness it.
Amen.
You do.
We do tell our clients that. It's like, why not give this to your children now?
Now. Yes.
I see that as a massive trend. A lot of people that I know are choosing to, do some downsizing, using that money, any money that they get, to have experiences with their kids now.
Right.
I think that has bubbled up as one of the most important things that you can do, especially when you have more time and you're in retirement. We used to laugh because I would say, hey, the only time that my sons really want to hang out is when I'm buying them dinner or buying them a vacation.
Right.
Well, fine. That's great. That's how it works.
Yes.
That's not bad. Utilizing any resources you have to create experiences. Now,
Exactly.
are the memories worth repeating or worth remembering?
Right.
And I just hear that more of people realizing it's not about the stuff anymore. It's about, making memories with your family.
Those things were important to me of the time I spent with my grandmother. It wasn't the value of it or anything like that. It was the memory of it. So,
Speaking of grandparents and the elder generations, food for thought. You have all those photo albums and boxes of pictures of aunts and uncles and cousins. You have no idea who they are. 3 generations back. I don't want them. I don't know who these people are. Your children are not going to want them. They're going to want their grandparents, maybe their great-grandparents if they know them, but deal with that now. Go through those photo albums. Get rid of those pictures that you just don't even know who they are. Get rid of them now. Because we deal with so many family pictures, boxes of family pictures.
This has been great. Thinking about the conversation and sort of seeing life go by. I've watched so many funeral motorcade processions, and on the back of the hearse, I've never seen a U-Haul trailer.
no.
So I think the main advice here is that you got opportunities to move some things. But is there anything else that we haven't touched on that is something that we didn't know about that you'd like to share with us as we wrap up today?
I think from a real estate perspective that it's hard on the family to sell and agree on a great big house with a lot of things in it, and that it's very smart to just keep downsizing and keep getting rid of your stuff and it's not a bad thing to keep going smaller and smaller where you live. Your kids are going to visit less. You're going to be more apt to go visit them.
And write things down in your handwriting. You sign it.
Sign the back.
If you don't want to get rid of it now,
write it down.
Make a journal.
Yeah.
And that way the children know that it came from you, not saying my sister said she was going to have that.
Right.
But mom and dad wrote it down.
Yeah.
Documentation's very important.
Huge.
And we have found that out in quite a few jobs.
If people want to get a hold of you guys, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
I have my emails, just Maria Sanko at ccr@gmail.com. My phone number is 419-303-8495. I can sell a house. We can work anywhere. I can sell anything in the state of Ohio. If you want my expertise, look us up.
Yeah, because I've worked in Connecticut. I've done Dayton. I've done Columbus. Haven't done anything in Cincinnati yet. And lots of North, Cleveland, Toledo. But GM Guagenti at gmail.com or 419-233-6800.
Spell Guagenti for me, please.
Guagenti.
Thank you for a great conversation. Thanks for joining us. Awesome getting together. And thanks for joining us on the Redirect podcast.
It was fun. Thank you for having us.
Enjoyed it.
I'm going home and throwing things out. How about you, Dale?
I am thinking about where I'm going to start. But I am going to start. The key is
Tomorrow.
Yeah, we can help.
If you got an hour or two. We and it's just me. I've got to say, my wife is great at purging and getting rid of stuff, and it's her perspective on life that allows her to do that. And I've got so many shirts and suits and things I just don't need anymore. I have time to get rid of it.
She's helped me in my moves. My husband went to medical school and we got married before all that. So I'm used to kind of purging things every 4 years. It's in my makeup. But some people don't do that. Some people have their things and they don't even look at it for 30 years, where I'm used to kind of the every 4-year purge because we were moving every 4 years.
How many of us have a box from a house that we've moved from that is still in the basement or still in the attic that we haven't opened, and it's been sitting there for whatever? I have this little feeling.
It everywhere.
If I haven't opened this box in a year, do I really need it?
Exactly.
I do not have a box like that.
But that's your job.
I do have a box like that, and it's got stuff from high school,
Right.
And some college things,
Yeah.
pictures of spring break.
I think
My
purging really
podcast
started.
is just going to fade to black here.
We can keep talking. It doesn't matter.
My purging started when John and I we were building and moving and whatnot, and we stored a lot of my stuff in my mother-in-law's basement. It flooded. That's when my purging started. We had all those family pictures, our yearbooks and stuff like that. It all went to the dumpster.
When we were doing it, my son Michael made a box, and the label on the box says, Michael's childhood in a box. Do not touch. And it's sealed. I've moved it twice now, and I'm honoring him. He lives in a little apartment in Chicago, so he can't have it, but it'll be there, sealed up.
He'll be moving.
He'll be moving, but it's still a little apartment in Chicago. But Michael's childhood in a box.
Well, take two of thank you for joining us on the Redirect podcast. Obviously, a lot to talk about. We really appreciate you taking time and sharing your expertise and making it personal, because it is a very personal thing as far as moving items.
The Midwest goodbye.
Go out and get rid of your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
The end.
Boom.
We want to thank Gianna Demona and the University of Cincinnati 1819 Innovation Hub for allowing us to use the eSports recording studio to record our podcasts. Want more information on how to redirect your purpose in retirement? Check out the Redirect website at redirect-u.com. Check out the latest Redirect podcast episode, as well as see all the Redirect episodes on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Do you have something you want to share? Do you have a question about your redirect strategy? Please email us at info@redirect-u.com. We want to hear from you. Remember, there is purpose in your life, so find it and go do something about it.